the unspoken price of doing nothing, it's something you don't initially think about. And I think it factors into not just in the business was what, our main focus and what we're going to be talking about, but in life in general. Perfect example, I used to work corporate, work in the corporate environment for about 15 years. And when I look back, I ended up leaving corporate because one, the glass ceiling that's there, yes, the ladder game that you have to play, I got sick of that. And then lastly, they ended up laying me off on top of that. So I didn't have much choice but to start over. I could have went back, but I really didn't want to go back to play that game. But one of the things I realized while I was there was how much time I wasted not bettering myself, figuring out exactly like some of the things you pointed out, getting the knowledge of other things that I could have been doing to venture out and build my own. I had the want to build something, but was fearful. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to gain the knowledge. I definitely was nervous about using my own capital. And it kind of came back to, kind of bite me in the butt where I had to start fresh with everything. And kind of just as I've built my real estate business and everything up, it's been great learning and going through the process of it, but I definitely didn't have to make it as hard on myself as I did. And what I realized is that because I had that fear there and I wasn't seeking the knowledge, I allowed that pain point to kind of create a compound interest to where when everything did hit, it was just a heavy blow. So I look at it, if I would have went through the process, the learning process and the learning curve of learning, how to invest the money, how to get, creative capital to start a business, to start my real estate business or whatnot, I would have went through a pain point then initially, but over time it would have eased what I had to go through later,
Yeah.
So I view it kind of like, it's kind of like working out. A lot of people don't want to work out because it's uncomfortable. You don't want to go through the process of being sore. You don't want to have to learn how to use the weights. You don't want to learn how to meal prep. Not even that, and sometimes it's not even that you don't want to, you're just uncomfortable doing it. But over time, if you don't do these things, your health declines. It doesn't, and it's not a huge amount of pain initially, but all of a sudden, when you have to go to the hospital and take a bunch of different medicines or whatnot, now you're facing the true pain of your inaction. And it's kind of the same thing. I look at that with business. You may have a great idea that you're kind of sitting on or a great game plan, but you're nervous because you have a good job. You have good benefits. You don't want to lose or disrupt this. So you're sitting on this $1 million idea while collecting $100,000 a year. But you're scared of that pain point. You're scared to move forward to at least start the process of this idea because of that fear. And what you're not realizing is that your inaction is going to cause you pain in the future. You may not realize it, but when that job, if they start calculating numbers behind the scenes in what I used to call the ivory tower, and they start calculating numbers and they look at your position, they're like, hey, they aren't going to even call you Marcus Harris. They're going to say, hey, employee 12456, we don't need this position. We don't need to give them $90,000 a year. How can we eliminate this? And that's how they're going to view you in that pain. That could all you could have softened that blow of that coming, because there's nothing you can do when it happens. Trust me, I've had it happen to me. There's nothing you can argue, you can fight, you can cry all about it. But when it happens, you aren't going to expect it to happen to you. Nobody expects it to happen to them, but it can happen to you. And you're going to look back and wish you would at least started the process a lot earlier than later.
And that's